Hey everyone, it's Ashley. Welcome back to another card tutorial. This time I'm going to be creating a shaker card with a beer themed. I am actually using this for a masculine birthday card, but it would be great for Father's Day, just because, or anything, or a celebration. I am going to be taking a die cut of a beer mug, and I have two on the card. So using my Copics, and here I'm just going to show you, I do start off with yellow red 27 as my darker orange, but I do have two mugs on the front of my card, and I wanted a little bit of layered look to them, or thickness, so I'm going to be stacking 3 on each die cut. So that's why I have 6 cut out, but I only colored 2, since that will be the top layer. So I'm just going to be adding that yellow red 27 as my darkest color, going in with my medium color of yellow red 24. I'm just going to go over that and go a little bit further to blend it out even more. And taking my lightest color of yellow red 23, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of blend all that, and I'm going to be doing just like little dots like the carbonation and stuff like that, and then taking my darker yellow red 27, I'm going to go over it again with some little polka dots, and I'm going to be doing the same exact coloring onto the second die cut. And then for the handle, I did use C1, and I also used the C1 for the little white froth that you'll be seeing in a second, but I don't really need to do that because I covered it with embossing powder to make it look foamy, and you can't even tell I colored it. Yeah, so right here I'm coloring it, but in the end you don't even notice it since I do cover it up. Okay, so taking my liquid glue, I'm going to attach 3 pieces together, so 2 of the plain, and then the top one is a colored piece. And there goes the top layer. I'm going to do the same exact thing for the second mug. And again, this just adds a little bit of dimension to the front of my card. And then there goes that colored piece. And then same thing with the froth or the foam. I cut out 6 total, and I'm just going to be stacking them in 3s, and I'll attach that to the top of the beer mugs. And the liquid glue is great to work with this because it gives you a little bit of wiggle room in case you didn't line it up on top of each other evenly at first. Okay, so then I'm going to take some more liquid glue and I'm going to attach the froth to the top of the beer mugs. And I just want the beer to be tucked underneath there so you don't see any color on top. Okay, and then I will be, excuse me, I will be cleaning up all my markers. I'm done with all my Copics, and there's the little beer die. I am going to be using the Simon Says Stamp Center Cut Geometric Background Stamp. It does have a center circle piece that you can leave in or take out, and I decided to take it out. I'm going to be using a navy cardstock to be the front panel of my card in an A2 size. And I'm going to be inking it up with some Versamark. And I'll be using the Simon Says Stamp Fine White embossing powder. And I do this 2 times just to make sure we get an even impression. And then we'll be putting on the embossing powder. And I left the circle out because I thought that would be the easiest way to make this into a shaker card. And I am just generously putting on this white embossing powder in a scrap piece of paper, and then shaking off the excess. And then we're going to heat it with our embossing tool. And I do find the best results if I let my embossing gun heat up just for a few seconds before I take it to the actual piece of cardstock. So I've been letting it run for a little bit. And I'm sorry, this looks a little fuzzy. The pattern is, my camera's phone wasn't liking the pattern. So it looks a little fuzzy or funny to the eyes, and you can't really tell that it's changing. But right now it is melting the embossing powder. So it's changing it from a loose powder to a melted, almost, like a solid state when it dries. And then I did take some of my Hero Arts Infinity circle dies, and I found the closest one for the middle that would leave just a little bit of outside border. Running that through my die cut machine. And it's going to create the spot then for the shaker window. So then I want to go ahead and put on some really strong adhesive. So I'm using my ATG gun, and I'm going to be putting on a clear acetate window sheet. And you just want to make sure you get that down really well so that nothing comes out. And then the most important part of a shaker card is using foam adhesive so that the stuff that you put in there, the sequins, the beads, or anything like that, has room to shake and move around. Also, it's very important to make sure there is no gaps in your foam adhesive so that the sprinkles or sequins, whatever you put in there, seed beads, not pony beads, but bigger beads, do not fall out. And then my trick to doing a shaker and lining it all up is I'm just going to go ahead and peel off most of that tape, but I do leave the top piece still intact. And you'll notice that I point to the top, so I'm going to leave that piece, and I'm going to line this up. Okay, so now the fun part, deciding what you want in your center. So using my little triangle trays, I'm going to go ahead and get some beads out, but first I'm going to put on the sentiment that I typed out. Beer is good, but beers are better. And I just used some sentiment strips to layer that onto black cardstock. And I'm going to be using some thin foam pop dots to add that to the front of the card. Okay, now let's get to the sequins. I have been working on organizing my sequins to help make the sequins shake, and because I wanted to bring in some blue, I am using the diamond dots, which is for diamond arts and painting, and I found a whole bunch on clearance at Hobby Lobby, and I like the way they look in shaker cards. So I added some of the diamond dots. I added some wood grained looking stars. I'm adding different shades of browns, golds, or coppers to represent kind of the beer coloring. And I'm just adding just an array of sequins. I always like my shakers to be full, but not too full to where nothing shakes. So you'll see me testing it out quite a bit. That's the best part of making a shaker, is trying it out. Just make sure you hold that top piece so that your sequins don't fall out. And as you can tell, my holders, I've been working really hard trying to organize all my sequins. When they were put up in these little containers across my craft room, I didn't want to get up and go get them, go dig them out of my, I don't know, I have a little 3-tiered cabinet in here, and I just did not want to get up and go dig them out, so I have them behind me in my expedite unit. Okay, so then you just see me pull off that top strip after it's loaded, and there's the sequins and the beads in the middle. And then I'm going to add those 2 beer mugs with my same liquid adhesive. I liked this because it still brought in the beer theme, but then you could also tell it's still a shaker card. And I am using this one for a birthday card, so I'll be stamping a happy birthday sentiment as well as my name stamp on the back. And just for a little bit of added interest in the front to bring in the black, I'm just putting in an extra little strip. Now taking my glossy accents, this is where I wanted to experiment. I wanted the beard to look frothy or foamy, but my liquid applique has all dried up. So I added on glossy accents, and then using that same embossing powder, I decided to try to put it on there. And you can see how it just gives just a little hint of frothiness. So using a little spoon, I just try to focalize on putting it on there and then blowing and brushing it off as much as I can. Remember though, the liquid glossy accents is still very wet, so if there's anything left over, you can take a brush or paintbrush afterwards. And then using the same glossy accents, I'm just going to put it on the handles of the beer mug. And that is the card. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them down below, and make sure you like and subscribe for more card making videos. Once again, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye!